Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to today's patch notes. We got a few things to go over. A little bit of fun, a little bit of news, and let's get into it. So, Mexico is on fire. There has been a revolt. People are sick and fucking tired of the Mexican president throwing in with these cartel douchebag wannabe fucking government boys. The Mexican people are convinced that she has thrown in with them and she is polluting with them to oppress the people of Mexico, and they have had enough. And the most interesting thing that I've seen in the clips that I have seen so far is all of these people who are crashing out are young men. They're not old AARP members, right? You know, they're not going to hard night with the boys, right? Or they're not going to meet up at McDonald's for morning coffee to talk politics, right? These are young 23 to 27 age men. Young guys. They've had enough. And I don't blame them. So we're getting into that today. On top of that, we have a political alignment test. Today, we are going to find out, what am I really? Am I a conservative? Am I a liberal? Am I a Democrat? Or am I none of them? Am I amalgamation? Am I Alien X? We're going to find out today. After that, best things to do in Dallas, Texas. As you guys know, I am going to be in Dallas, Texas in 2026 to see MGK live. So if you see me there at the concert, feel free to say hello. Yeah, best things to do in Dallas, Texas. We're gonna go through it. This, I think I think it has like 35 different things that you could do or something like that. So I'm gonna be paying. Oh yeah, right here, 35 things to see and do while you visit Dallas, Texas. Next, we have Trump crashing out over the Epstein files, specifically targeting a Republican MAGA person, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a very outspoken MAGA supporter, and she has thrown in the towel on the Epstein files, as have many, because it's literally an issue that you just can't win on. So, after we watch this little video summarizing what's going on, we are going to read a crash out that he put on Truth Social. This, by the way, is why I do not care and I did not vote for this man. This right here, it's petty, it's bullshit. If you were doing your job, nobody would bring up Epstein. But you're giving people a lot of fucking time to worry about Epstein. Fix their life and they will forget that it ever existed. Don't fix their life and, well, you see how that worked out for you. So, all right, we got to pause on the music here. Let's get into it. First up, Mexico. What's going on? And did they burn down the presidential building yet? I guess we're going to find out.
Massive protests breaking out in Mexico City. More than 100 police officers were injured in these violent clashes outside of the National Palace. The unrest follows the assassination of a mayor who had criticized Sheinbaum's approach to fighting drug cartels.
True.
Demonstrators, many of them Gen Z, accused the president of ignoring cartel violence and rejecting U.S. help to combat it. Leonardo Falcon and Ignacio.
Yeah, they're fucking sick of it, man. Think about how many people there have lost loved ones to these fucking cartel coward fucking douchebags, right? And I think people in the US, they need to be a bit more outspoken about how fucking retarded and cowardice that these fuckers are. Because at the end of the day, I mean, they never operate freely in the US. They don't. And they can't, right? We have too good of an infrastructure set up. I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, we can find people like within 24 hours, no matter where they go, whether they're masked up or not. So, that's kind of it's kind of a big deal. So that's why they get away with this shit in Mexico, because Mexico ain't got the resources we do. They don't have the infrastructure we do. Like, you're not doing this shit. Like, the cartels aren't doing this shit in China. And that's because China has enough cameras on one fucking string of lights, traffic lights, that they could see you spit 3 hours ago. Right? It's crazy, right? So they have to take advantage of these smaller countries that, in some cases, like Mexico's not even that small of a country, but it's just doesn't have the infrastructure, right? And people are fucking pissed. They're upset, right? Because the people who are like the mayors who have been assassinated, they're trying to do good. They're trying to change Mexico for the better, and they're losing their life because of it, right? And that only happens there, right? The only people that you have that are cartels in the United States is a bunch of poser fucking losers who fucking get your fucking public information on the internet, and then they try to harass you and try to get a one up on you in life because they hate themselves. So don't believe any bullshit that you see. Well, oh yeah, there's a fucking cartel guy fucking shot up a campus or some shit. Yeah, no, it's not real. It's fake news, right? It's just somebody fucking using it as a way to crash out and cause fear, right? It's not real, right? It's never been real. It never will be real, right? We're talking about a country that used to have a mafia problem. What happened to the people in the mafia? They all got taken down by the government, right? Because at the end of the day, the one who controls the military controls the power, right? You can have in New York City around the frickin' wrapped around your pretty little finger, but the government will just cut that finger off, right? Don't give a fuck. So literally, don't worry about this shit. If you're not in Mexico, this is why people are leaving Mexico. By the way, by the way, because you speak out against this shit, and they don't have any protection because that's what the government is supposed to be there for, right? The government is supposed to see this happen and be like, "Oh, hey, fuck, we got a cartel problem. We need to get rid of these motherfuckers," and just go full on, just obliteration against these fucking guys. They can. That's the sad part. Sad part is they can, but they would rather let their citizens suffer and make money on the back of the cartels than fucking help their citizens be the ones to bring in a new era, a new age of Mexico. And it's insane. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Gonzalez are here. They have a podcast called the Leo and Nacho podcast in Mexico, and we've had them on many times on Fox Noticias. I'll start with you, Leo. Why don't you just explain to the American people what is happening at this moment? Because Mexico is in full revolt right now.
Am I right or am I wrong? Let me know.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, good morning to the United States and good morning to you, Rachel. And what Mexico is currently facing is a national awakening. What we're looking at, what you're probably looking at in the screens, is a protest of the Gen Z movement in Mexico, where there are no parties that they are leading this. It's the youth, it's the Mexican people. It's not about the left, it's not about the right, it's about the Mexican people wanting the best for the country. And we're all together in this protest. We're all together for a better country, and we see it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We saw over more than 100,000 people during the streets of Mexico, and it was pretty impressive from our part to see it for the first time. And we were actually there, so we're very happy of the people that showed up in the country and that they are pushing for a change.
Nacho,
That's
why
really
are the
good.
Mexican people so angry at Claudia Sheinbaum, your president?
Well, in a country which you have 60 murders and 40 missing people a day,
60 murders and 3 missing people a day? What the fuck is she doing? She's got to be, she's got to allegedly be sleeping with one of these cartel members, like a high end fucking top tier cartel member. That's got to be it. It's got to be it. That's got to be it. She throwing this shit out for lust, bro. That's the only thing I can think of that would make any semblance of sense, Charmed, right? Like it's got to be mind control, like manipulation. There's got to be something going on that would cause somebody to absolutely throw their country under the bus for essentially what is terrorists. Fuck that. Hell no. Damn, bro.
every single day. Of course, they are shocked.
Bro, she just needs to go scorched earth on these fucking people, man. You go scorched earth on probably 100 cartel members, they will fall back into hiding and never show their faces again. Because at the end of the day, they're cowards. Otherwise, they would engage in open combat, but they don't. They never do. And it's because they know they'd lose.
Of course, they are shocked.
They don't have the
Yeah.
resources.
We, the youth, are really
All
desperate.
they have is
because
children.
We don't see the light.
Is that a fucking hammer? Jesus.
The generations see the teenagers after this horrific situation. We decide to protest,
Yes.
not with a flag of any political party, no.
Dude, is that a phalanx? That's a... Oh my god. No way. No way that's what they did. No, that's not real. That's not real. In case you guys don't know what I'm referencing, Roman phalanx. Oh, Jesus Christ. Phalanx. Images. So a Roman phalanx is this. This is a Roman phalanx. I refuse to believe this is real. Police. A Roman. Oh, Jesus. Phalanx. Oh my god, bro. I keep missing it. See. Oh my god, it's real. Not the music. Bro, they're actually using a phalanx. And they're just smashing the fucking barricades into him? Brother! He stole the shield! Bro, the music is so good, bro. Yeah. That's insane.
To
They're
protest,
popping off,
Yes.
lad.
not with a flag of any political party, no, because they are killing us.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
reality.
Okay, so what do you believe that Claudia Sheinbaum is complicit in this? We've had senators on here, Senator Lily Tejas, who bravely said Mexico is indeed a narco state, and she said that Claudia Sheinbaum and her Morena party, the political party she belongs to, is in business with the cartels. Is that true in your opinion, Leo?
Well, when we look at what Nacho just mentioned, when we look at 60 murders, 40 missing people every single day.
Wait. What was the initial number that the first guy said when this popped up? See, what are we at? 251. So let's go back right to the beginning here. Right there.
Left is not about the right, it's about the Mexican people wanting the best for the country. And we're all together in this protest, and we were actually there.
Well, in a country which you have 60 murders and 40 missing people a day.
Oh, I think he said 40. But I couldn't tell with the accent. Okay, gotcha. I just want to make sure the numbers lined up, that's all.
Reality.
Okay, so what do you believe that Claudia Sheinbaum is complicit in this? We've had senators on here, Senator Lily Tejas,
That's
who
insane.
bravely said Mexico is indeed a narco state, and she said that Claudia Sheinbaum and her Morena party, the political party she belongs to, is in business with the cartels. Is that true in your opinion, Leo?
Well, when we look at what Nacho just mentioned, when we look at 60 murders, 40 missing people every single day,
That's crazy.
the narco state of
That's 100 people dead and gone a day. What the fuck?
Mexico makes it pretty obvious that there's some things going on behind the curtains in the Mexican government.
Yeah.
This is sad, but what we look at here in the protest is that there's actually a noticing. There's actually a noticing of all of the Mexican youth, of all of the Mexican families, that they are saying, how can this be happening?
Well, they're all probably affected in some way, shape, or form. Like either they lost a family member or one of their family members is missing, never to be found. So you get enough of that together and they'll tear down the whole of Mexico.
And when you have when you have such a big amount of the population mad, upset at what's
Something's
happening in
going
the
on.
country,
Yeah.
something's going on. And
Yeah.
that's when you have a protest like the one we had yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, people should understand. Not only was that mayor murdered in public with his wife and his child there, but then a few days later, another mayor was executed. He was actually decapitated. His head placed on the hood of his car. This kind of stuff happens all the time. It's totally normalized in Mexico, and the Mexican people are sick of it. Now, President Trump, Nacho, has said, "I'm going to take on the cartels in Venezuela," and of course, they're a transnational network. And that includes the cartels in Mexico. He has gone to Sheinbaum and said, "Will you help me?" But her help appears to be very superficial, not real. What do the Mexican people want, Nacho, especially Generation Z? Because Generation Z is the one who is sort of fueling this protest. In fact, Claudia Sheinbaum printed out the names of all the Gen Z influencers.
Yeah, the one video I saw, they literally dragged a police officer into the crowd and beat the fuck out of him. And then, granted, when the police officer got back up, they didn't hit him anymore. They just pushed him the fuck around for a little bit and then he fucking got let go. But they fucked him up. They're done. They're fed up. And this is why, by the way, you need to stop thinking right wing politics or left wing politics. You need to stop. You need to stop with that bullshit. You need to stop thinking about race. You need to stop thinking about class, right? It is the people and the government. It has always been that way, right? I will never be more grateful than I am today for my economics teacher, all right, and my civics teacher, two very based individuals, two very aware individuals who were very good. And then, like, I'm not saying they were completely right all the time, because looking back on it, there are some things that they said that weren't quite true, right? But the one thing that they did say was that propaganda is everything to all of these people. Never take their word for it, never believe them, and never capitulate to their ideals. The only thing you should look out for is propaganda. That's it. You understand what they're offering you, you throw that shit in the trash can, and you make them do what you want. Always. Never, never, never become a liberal, never become a Democrat, never become a Republican, never become a conservative. Don't become any of them. The best way to the best way to look at politics is from the outside looking in, right? You need to let that circus play out with just the politicians involved. And when those politicians get out of line, well, then you treat them like the circus animals they're meant to be, right? That's the only thing that the people should do. Situations like this. It's why we have a Second Amendment, right? Protect ourselves from government tyranny, right? These guys, not so lucky, right?
like yourselves who were encouraging people to come out and protest, which is like putting a list out for the cartels. So tell me, do the young people like you want the help from President Trump's?
But yeah, they want the infighting to continue because if we're busy fighting each other, then we'll never turn all of our collective gaze toward the government, right? You want rent to go down? Stop looking at each other, stop blaming fucking right or left politics, and start blaming all of them. Blame every single one of them. If they're a government official, if they work for the government in a position of which decisions are made, those are the people you need to look at. I do think that America is due one Mexico. That's what I'm going to call it. One Mexico. Tear down the presidential walls, right? It's time to remind the politicians that this isn't your country to rule over. It is your country to be in service to, because that's what it is.
Administration and from our military.
Plain and simple.
The Generation Z want peace. We don't care if that peace come with American flag in the left arm or the right arm. We don't care. We want peace.
Damn, they're trying to become the 51st state? Hold up.
The situation we're living in Mexico is crazy. It's crazy, and we have a president who prefers to talk about influencers and content creators instead of fixing the real problem,
which is
as
the
Leo
cartels.
said, which is
It's optics. It's optics. Anything to make them look like they're not the complete, utter fucking waste of space on the planet Earth that they are. They will scapegoat anyone and everyone. This is what happens when your politics fail and the optics no longer work in your favor, they work against you. Donald Trump is also going through this at the moment because the optics around the Epstein files and his inability to deliver on said promise, which he did promise. He didn't run his whole campaign on it, but he did for sure, guaranteed, explicitly say that he would release them one time. The first time he was hesitant and he was like, I don't really know, right? But the second time, he did confirm that he had no problem releasing the files. It was confirmed.
the cartels.
This is a clip that you can easily find on X, Google, YouTube. Just look it up.
Last word.
We don't know what the problem is. We all know it. But
yeah, you know that
she
the
prefers
problem.
to look the other way.
Correct. Last word, Leo. Do the Mexican people, does Generation Z Mexicans want President Trump to eradicate the?
No, I'm seeing. Okay, if there are people within her cabinet, within her political sphere, that are capitulating to the cartels and are causing this issue to happen, all she has to do is execute them. Everybody wants to say, whoa, is it too far? I'm seeing a whole lot of, I don't know about that, Chief. Is it too far when 100 people are missing or dead a day? A day? Every single day. I don't think it's too far. How many citizens, how many innocent people, women, children, young fighting age men, fucking old geezers, how many have to disappear before you finally do the unthinkable to stop the unthinkable, right? There's a reason why you never bring a knife to a gunfight. There's a reason why you don't fight fucking fire with fire, right? You fight fire with water. And the reason is if you don't, you lose. every time you lose. And it's never worth the cost. It's never worth the cost to look the other way. It's never worth the cost to watch innocent people suffer because you are too cowardly to do something unspeakable. I guarantee you, every king, every emperor, every fucking Viking earl, every fucking one of them had to do something unthinkable to either save the village, save the city, save the town, save the fucking fjord. What are we talking about? Sometimes life gives you a set of choices that don't have a good outcome, no matter what. Those are what we call tough choices in life, right? For example, for example, your dog is going to die in 1 year guaranteed because of cancer. Not treatable, no medication. 1 year, that's the timeline, exact date. Do you continue to let that dog suffer and decline and decay for 1 year where it has a brutal, unfortunate, every waking moment, right? An unfortunate outcome, an unfortunate feeling, right? We're talking pain, we're talking suffering, we're talking depression, loss, anxiety, all of it, right? Your dog slowly loses everything right in front of you. Or, or do you get a veterinarian to come to your home? You give your dog all the loving in the world. You give them an amazing last meal, right? A little bit exercise, maybe a final car ride, all the things your dog loved. And then they simply go to sleep in peace and in happiness. Which one would you rather want, right? Neither one of those are a choice that is a technical good outcome. Yeah, you get to spend more time with your dog, but it suffers the whole time. Or you stop it suffering, but your dog dies tomorrow. It is a terrible choice no matter what you pick. Those are the choices that make or break people who are not strong. And maybe and I don't, because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the whole history of her being the president, right? Maybe she did try to make that choice at one point, and it revealed how weak of a person she really was, right? Maybe she did try to fight back at one point. And maybe they took something from her and that was enough to scare her in line, right? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know anything about this for the most part,
The cartels, even if that
aside from the
includes
bit of
military
context I've seen.
work, military actions.
I think that's a great question, Rachel. And I think this question works for every single country that is facing such a big and important problem, such as in Mexico. When the Mexican people is in these conditions, when the Mexican people is desperate, as Nacho said, we don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's Russia. We don't care if it's the United States. We just want collaboration. We just want collaboration to end this problem for once and for all. We want peace for the Mexican people. We want growth for the Mexican people. We want the future Mexican kids to be in a state of peace, not in a state of war and in a state of insecurity. We don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Fair.
you are neighbors, our biggest trading
That's
partners. What
absolutely
happens
fair.
in Mexico should matter to our entire hemisphere and especially the United
I do agree with this. I know a lot of people may be divided on whether we should get involved on a military level. Um, I'm still not going to commit to troops on the ground, but I would be full willing to do surgical strikes like we did with Iran, like Israel did to the Hamas nonsense in Gaza, right? Um I would be okay with that. I would be okay with very intuitive, very precise strikes to eliminate these top ranking officials that have turned Mexico into essentially what is the Wild West, where even the bandits can have as much control as the fucking government.
United States. So we wish you luck, and we are really proud of the courage of your generation to stand up to cartel violence, corruption, and crime, and take that on in the streets. So good luck. Thank you, Leo and Nacho.
This is also why that they are pushing as many women as possible to become liberal as hell, by the way. Because if you have a bunch of conservative men and women, there is nothing more motivational for a man than a woman, right? So if they think alike, they act the same, they push the same narrative, then that means men would be more willing to rise in the face of tyranny to protect their wives and their livelihood than they would nowadays. Nowadays, a lot of people are staying single, not because it's not even because people hate each other, it's because that the media divides you and convinces you that you're a certain way when you're not. You're not. Most people aren't. Most people aren't. Most people aren't right wing thinkers. Most of them aren't left wing thinkers. But you get into this group think and this fucking, oh, I'm going to root for my team. And that's what ruins your life every single time. Yeah. So that's what's going on in Mexico. Shit is popping the fuck off, man. Absolutely crazy times we are living in right now. I really do hope Mexico all the best. Hopefully, we can actually help them to get this resolved in a way that ends in the country's best interest. Um, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. We'll just have to see how things develop. But yeah, they continue to fight for their freedom. So I wish them all the best. All right, let's get the music back going. We got to figure out what team, speaking of politics, that we think we're on. All right. Where do you fit in the political typology? Are you a faith in flag conservative, progressive left, or somewhere in between? Let's find out. Let's begin. Question 1 of 16. Okay, this is not too bad. If you had to choose, would you rather a smaller government provide fewer services, a bigger government provide more services? A bigger government for sure. Bigger governments, they have more resources to pull on than a smaller government. Obviously, I do think that the smaller governments should be somewhat proficient, right? Because if your state is a net loss on the country, I do think that you should honestly throw everybody out of the local governments. You need to, if the state is a net loss, right? They're constantly losing money every fiscal fucking quarter, every year, right? Whatever it is, gone. Get rid of them, right? Every single official fired, right? When you say you favor a bigger government providing more services, do you think it would be better to modestly expand our current services or greatly expand our current government services? Modestly or greatly? I think probably modestly. I think we could use some expansion. I don't think we need a great expansion. I think we pay for quite a bit already. But I do think that there are some things that I would like to see. Um, like for example, I would like to see government funding going to animal shelters, for example, because animal shelters are usually donation based, which is very unfortunate. Um, it puts them at an extreme disadvantage, especially considering the fact that most of those animals were brought here by us and are bred by us and are turned into these places essentially for a small fee, or sometimes if they're scummy enough, they'll literally just fucking leave their dog at the fucking door, right? And they will take in the dog every time. So I think due to that, right, due to human intervention causing, like, I think it's something crazy, like 400,000 dogs to be within these programs, I think that that does need some sort of government oversight and funding. That whole system is fucking whack to me. I could make a whole fucking video on that shit. Um, what other? I do think there needs to be a baseline healthcare system that is not straight out of pocket or insurance based. I do think that is a thing. You do need to provide these things. What else? Housing assistance for sure needs to be expanded. Um, there are too many people who are basically living. Well, I'm actually thinking about it a little bit more. I think I'm slightly divided on this. I think there are still plenty of people out there who could definitely benefit from having a home, right? A housing assistance program, right? Especially like when we're talking homeless veterans, like people who have dedicated their life to the country. There's no reason they should be on the street, right? But obviously, if they have a drug habit or something that they can't kick, then you gotta put them up in a fucking facility at least, like a mental health facility. Um, some sort of like if we could bring in some labor camp type facilities. And anytime you fucking put that out there, like get all up in arms about it. Like, look, these labor camps, they don't have to be this depressing jail cell that you're all imagining, right? You could give them a studio sized apartment and just simply require them to essentially um work like, I don't know, 8-10 hours a day, right? And if they got some sort of disability, you could find them a different type of job that would be useful for their, or doable for their ability, right? I do think that that could be a thing that could happen. And give them a decent little apartment, basic appliances, maybe a game console, something to just make them comfortable, decent. You just can't be in society anymore, right? Like you go back out in society, you're gonna get on like bath salts or some crazy shit, and then fucking go crash out, right? Like, can't be doing that, Got to get rid of all these freaking fent zombies and shit. Um, yeah. So I do think a modest expansion could be due for sure. Next. All right, question 2. Which of the following statements come closest to your view? America's openness to people from all over the world is essentially. Blah, blah, I completely added shit there. America's openness to people from all over the world is essential to who we are as a nation. If America is too open from all over the world, we risk losing our identity as a nation. I am in line with the second one. I'm basically 100% aligned with the second one, right? The idea of having an open nation, I think, is a farce. I think it's fake news. I think it's bullshit. It doesn't matter what country it is. You could be the most immigrant-run country on the fucking planet, but you will always lose, and you will always have societal instability no matter what. You cannot put all these cultures together without some sort of foundational culture for them to not adhere to, but adjoin to, right? They have to be able to come together around one table. If you can't do that, then you just can't be open. Like, it's just not a thing. And we are still a very, very open country. Over 1 million people. Like, we'll just grab the fucking right here. We'll pull it up on Grok right now. How many people legally immigrated to the United States in 2024? We're gonna figure it out. Approximately 1.2 million people. Okay? So people are immigrating. We are still an immigrant country. That doesn't mean we just have to let in Joe Schmo who killed 6 women and fucking shot up a school in what's a place everybody thinks is shitty right now? In some fucking cartel town. That doesn't mean we have to let those fucking scumbags in, right? Not at all. I'm okay with the people that we vet in, that go through the process, that they learn English, right? I'm okay with that. I think well, right now I'm not okay with that. Right now, that shit, everything's on hold until we fix all the shit that's going on in our nation, and then I'll be open to that again. I'd be cool. In general, would you say experts who study a subject for many years are usually better at making good policy, worse at making good policy, neither better nor worse at making good policy? This might be a hot take, but I'm going to say worse. Here's the reason. When you're obsessed and you have a certain passion that gears your entire thinking, generally speaking, you are only going to look at that. Okay, here's a better way to explain it. People who are too far in on one subject can only look at things through a narrow lens, through a narrow perspective. So when a issue pops up that involves their subject, but they lack the complexity, the ability to comprehend and understand the complexity of the situation, of the problem, because they only look at it from one perspective. That is the problem. Now, having the prior experience is good. Having access to that knowledge is good. Having access to that wisdom is good. But literally, and you can go back and look, anytime mainstream media has a quote-unquote expert on, you can cross-reference the prediction that they made in the policy judgment that they gave out and go look at that. Go look exactly how that policy is performing. And most of the time, they are wrong. They are wrong because they are missing all the extra variables and context that would have brought them to a different conclusion, right? It's a scientific formula, right? You test, and then you test again, and then you test again, and then you keep testing, because with all things, when complexity is involved, variables change. And when variables change, they change the overall outcome And if you're lucky, they don't. So you always got to do that. This is why, for example, in the medical industry, right? As somebody who is a former nurse, you have to continue to reevaluate and retest because there is always new medical information, new procedures, new routines, new everything, even from everything from a new medication on the market that could help a certain patient, or um it could also be something like CPR. Like, okay, the procedure for CPR is slightly different than last year. The reason that you have to do these things is because you have to stay well informed on what could potentially save or end somebody's life. That's very important, right? So you are constantly having to face your own perspective on things, right? And I'm not saying that there isn't bad apples out there, right? People who just completely throw logic out the window and they don't use reason at all when it comes to medical decisions, which is very, very dangerous. I believe those people should lose their fucking license because that is absolutely a fucking scam. All right, that's a scam. You see anybody like that, you mass report them and you get them removed from the medical industry, make them become a fucking accountant or some shit. They can fuck up numbers all day, but if you fuck up numbers when it comes to an injection or some sort of procedure, then you have the possible chance of killing an individual. And that's my short rant. So, yeah. So you constantly have to change your perspective on things. If you're not challenging your own decisions, you're doing yourself a disservice. Thinking about increased trade of goods and services between the US and other nations in recent decades, would you say that the US has gained more than it has lost because increased trade helps lower prices and increase the competitiveness of some US businesses? Lost more than it gained because increased trade has cost jobs in manufacturing and other industries and lowered wages for some US workers. So I think we got a bit of a mixed bag here. I don't think it's wholly one or the other, right? So let's extrapolate the first one first, all right? Gained more than it has lost because increased trade helped lower prices. On one hand, that is true. But reading the second part, and increase the competitiveness of US businesses. Here's the deal. There are things that I do believe should be made solely in the US. For example, homes. We should not be importing necessary materials to build a home from other countries. That should be made in the US, shipped in the US, distributed in the US, and built in the US. That doesn't mean that we can't import lumber and other types of rare earths or metals from other countries to be used in like a corporate environment, right? So if a corporation wants to expand, they need a lot of material very fast. We can do that and import that in, right? If they want to put up a manufacturing facility for Ford, for example, that's a lot of metals. That's a lot of solid concrete like material, right? That's a lot of some rare earths probably somewhat involved into that process, and a lot of wood, right? A lot of wood. So that would be a situation where you import that in because that would be a massive net loss on your natural resources in your country. But for expanding the housing market, to lower the prices of the average home, bringing a fucking 2x4 from Utah is going to be 10 times cheaper than importing it through fucking Canada. because then you have tariffs on top of that from both sides that you have to deal with, right? And I know in some cases in like Canada, I know they've like removed the tariffs, and the US has also removed tariffs. In other countries, they've added tariffs and then removed tariffs, and it's fucking crazy right now. But typically speaking, somebody loses, and it's usually the person buying the home, right? So looking at the second statement, lost more than it gained because increased trade has cost jobs in manufacturing. The jobs would be there if you didn't import millions of illegal migrants to fill those roles. But these companies are cutting cost by doing so. So, you know, I do think that's a big factor into this. A lot of these companies chose to leave the US because they knew they could take advantage of cheap labor, and it has shown because the quality of our products has gone down insanely. Whereas you look at a company like, for example, perfect example, we were talking about it earlier, Ford. Ford moved its manufacturing to another country. Dodge moved its manufacturing to another country. Chevy moved its manufacturing to another fucking country. What is the most reliable 1500 pickup truck on the road today? The Toyota Tundra. Where is Toyota made? In the fucking US, in Texas. So, that goes to show that when you cheap out on fucking labor, you get cheap ass fucking labor results. Plain and simple. Other industries and lowered wages for some US workers. Wages has been an issue for a long time. As production and increased profit has gone up, wages have stayed the same, which is the net reason nobody can afford fucking shit. So, overall, ignoring most of this and just looking whether they gained or lost, I would say the US has lost more over the years than they have gained. I do feel like that we could be taking more advantage of the countries that rely on us on a military standpoint to protect them from places like China, like Russia, who are actively and always waiting for a reason to go pop it off, right? How much more, if anything, needs to be done to ensure equal rights for all Americans, regardless of their racial or ethnical backgrounds? Nothing at all. We need to stop looking at race as a metric. I even would go so far to say that companies should not be allowed to record your race. They shouldn't be. It should be banned completely. No gender, no race, right? No reason. Right? I don't give a fuck. Then I don't even care if it's a fucking insurance company. Because like insurance companies are a perfect example of this, because men have to pay a higher fucking premium than women, even though women have more accidents than fucking men. What kind of bullshit is this? I think. Hold on. Let me fact check myself. Live fact check again. Am I fucking wrong? Am I delusional? All I know is like every woman that I have known for like the past 10 years, I'll never go on a 15-hour road trip with because I am afraid for my fucking life. How many car accidents were committed by each gender in 2024? 2024, the reason why I'm using 2024 is so I can get a full year's time. I want a full annual time. Let's see. All crashes, 5.3 million, 3.73 million. Okay, so there are more male crashes. Fatal crashes. 13. Okay. Wait, what is this? Injury crashes only? What the fuck? This is way closer than I thought it would be. Property damage. True. Okay, so I was wrong. I'll apologize. I will apologize. I fact-checked myself. To be fair, I thought that this difference would be bigger. But the fact that it is this close is... I don't know if I should be more worried or less worried. Oh, man. That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay. All right. I'll let y'all off the hook this time. This time. Let's see. What else? How much more, if anything, needs to be done to... Oh, yeah. So, yeah. That's what I think. I think we should be removing race and gender from being a factor in any sort of line of work. Everything should be based on merit. How much time have you put in? How much education have you earned to get to this spot, right? That's what I think. That's exactly what I think. So yeah, nothing at all. Next. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? Business corporations make too much profit. Most corporations make fair, reasonable amount. You're funny. Obviously, they're taking too much profit. I mean, look at fucking McDonald's. Look at how much they marked up their food. They don't need to mark up their food that much. They could be slicing it off at 20%, but they want these 50, 60, 70% profit margins. Fucking suck my dick. You've been at a market cap for years, you cunts. Knock it off. How much, if at all, would it bother you to regularly hear people speak a language other than English in public places in your community? So, I feel like I'm perfect for this because I work in the tourism industry. I meet people from other countries all the time, from Europe, from Saudi Arabia. I meet people from Africa. I meet people from fucking Jamaica. I meet people from the Dominican Republic. I meet people from fucking everywhere, right? I met people from Russia. I've met people from Ukraine, right? I have no problem if you speak your own language if you are not looking to live here full time. If you are simply here on a vacation or like a temporary work visa where you're here for like, I don't know, 90 days or not 90 days, Jesus Christ. You're here for, I know a lot of work visas are like 6 months for like seasonal positions and stuff. Like, if that's what you're here for, sure. You don't have to learn English, we'll help you out, this and that and the other. Great. Appreciate the help, because I know there's a lot of, like, Jamaica is a good example of this. I worked with a lot of Jamaicans in the past 3-4 years, right? Jamaica, everything that they told me about Jamaica sucks dick, right? Their food is incredibly expensive there. They said, and I quote, "It is cheaper to package food here in the U.S., pay the fee to have it sent from our postal service to their fucking country because of how expensive their food is." What the fuck? What the fuck is happening in Jamaica? That's insane. Insane. And this is not like a 1 or 2 person opinion. This is dozens. We're talking 20 plus. Because once I heard about it, your boy did the research and I fucking asked all of them. And they all have the same fucking consensus. They come here, they get food, and they send food home. And it's like, is it really that bad? Because the only country similar to Jamaica in any form that I have been to is Hawaii. Right? And I'm not talking like big city, Honolulu, fucking Hawaii. I'm talking like Kona, flying into the Kona airport and then staying in that little tiny town compared to everything else. Right? It is very far and away detached from the big city Hawaiian lifestyle, right? And stuff was a little bit more expensive there, but it wasn't like so unruly, right? I did spend a lot though. I spent a lot, dude. I spent like fucking $2,500 there, dude. Holy shit. But it was expensive. It was expensive, but if it's really, really that bad in Jamaica, what the fuck are they doing, bro? But yeah, if you're looking to live here permanently, full time, getting your citizenship, all that stuff, learn English. You have to learn English. I'm not having it any other fucking way. Nothing pisses me off more than somebody who is living here full time and they can't figure out where the goddamn bathroom is because they don't know what the word men and women is. Okay? I've had this happen and it triggers me every fucking time. Because, and this is why, because they were a fucking truck driver driving an Amazon delivery truck. Yes. Yes, here we are, circling back. Fucking truck drivers all over again. These companies hired them out like crazy. And I don't know if this is, I don't want to accuse Amazon of anything. I don't know if this is a direct hire by Amazon or if it's by a third-party company and they're just pulling an Amazon trailer. But either way, somewhere along the lines, they're letting shit slide, all right? But, yeah. So, let's see. Without that context, I guess I'll say some. I wish this question was a lot more specific. On a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 means you feel as cold and negative as possible, and 100 means you feel as warm and positive as possible, how do you feel towards Democrats? Fucking 0. Zilch. Nada. How do you feel towards Republicans? Not much better. I hate the both of you. You guys are both fucking retards. I ain't gonna lie. I think you guys are living in the past. You're living in old policy times. You're living in these fake progressive fucking optics bullshit views, right? And the Republicans weren't as bad about this, but they're starting to do the same bullshit as the Democrats, and that's why it's coming back in their fucking face. I'm sick of it. I think both these parties should be relinquished and completely just gotten rid of. Like, the names, everything. The stupid ass elephant and donkey. Fuck them. Get rid of them. Fucking throw them out. Done with it. I don't want an 8-party system. I don't want a 10-party system. I want a 0-party system. I want the people and the government. That's it. Which of these statements best describes your opinion about the United States? The U.S. stands above all other countries in the world. The U.S. is one of the greatest countries in the world, along with some others. There are other countries that are better than the U.S. I don't believe any country is better than the U.S. Suck my fucking dick. Suck my dick. Right? Like, what are you gonna fucking say? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna fucking... What are you going to say, England? You're going to say the fucking UK? Huh? How's that freedom of speech? How's getting arrested for putting a post on fucking Twitter? What else are we going to say? Australia? What, so I can lose to a bunch of fucking birds? To a bunch of flightless birds? The fucking military. You mean to tell me your military was so incapable that they not only couldn't keep control of fucking New Zealand, but they couldn't get rid of a bunch of flightless big ass birds? Oh, brother. What else do we want to talk about? What other countries y'all got? What other countries, huh? Oh, Canada. Oh, yeah, we want to talk Canada. All right, Canada. Canada. You got 2 of your most successful provinces wanting to become part of the US because your economic standing is so bad that they're simply fed up with your entire country. They want to become the 51st and 52nd states of the US because they're sick of your bullshit. Oh my God, we're talking about the same country that is privatized by the US because you have exactly no military and you are solely reliant on our ability to protect you. We're talking about that country? What else we want to talk about? Huh? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Come on. Come on. What else you got? Saudi Arabia? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, bringing back slavery. Yeah, yeah. I heard about that one. Hey, best in the world, bro. Best in the fucking world. The US is one of the greatest countries in the world. I do think that there are other good countries out there. I'm not listen, it's jokes. It's just jokes. We're chilling, right? I have nothing against any other country. I think every country has something to bring to the table, but I do think a lot of those countries right now are making some terrible, terrible optics-based policy decisions. You guys need to get rid of that shit and get back to common sense. That's what I think. That's what I think about that. Ooh, we got some coffee today, and I am loving it. How much of a problem, if any, would you say each of the following are in the country today? People being too easily offended by things others say. Major problem. Well, it's not, I would say it's not even a major problem. I would say it's like a moderate problem. We are on the upswing of this, right? We're starting to get back to the point to where people are tired of being tone policed and being told what to do by people who have rings that belong on bowls, blue hair, and are fat and are insecure about themselves and life in general, right? So I do think it is still a major, it's more of a moderate problem, but we'll call it major because if I were to choose minor or major, I would say it swings toward major still. People saying things that are very offensive to others. I'm gonna say no, I can't. It's gonna screw up I can't do it that way. I gotta do it the way that the quiz has set it up. Okay, so people saying things that are very offensive to others. Is this a problem? Not a problem. I was gonna say major problem, but because people aren't saying enough. I am longing for the return of me freely saying the N-word, even in public with my buddy, and the world not getting mad at him for not tone policing me. I have a black friend, by the way. That's what that context is for those who have the tinfoil hat on. No. All right. Question 11. Which comes closer to your view of candidates for political office? Even if neither is exactly right, I usually feel like there's at least one candidate who shares most of my views. None of the candidates represent my views well. I don't think I have a candidate right now that represents most of my views. I would say there's a chance that JD Vance would share some of my views, but I'll have to wait and see. I do think that he will make a presidential run. I don't know if he's going to win right off the bat. If things continue like they are, I think that they will lose. They will concede the presidency to the Democrats in the next election. I honestly think that. I think if they don't fix this problem very quickly, they're guaranteed to lose the next election. Guaranteed. I think the Epstein thing has full control of the internet and the housing, food, gas, automobiles, everything has control of the people outside of that. That's life. That's life. If they want to make these problems disappear, they got to do everything correctly. None of the candidates represent my views well. Definitely leaning towards that. So, in general, how much do white people, oh, for fuck's sake, in general, how much do white people benefit from advantages in society that black people do not have? Let's see. Is there black lawyers? Yes. Is there black doctors? Yes. Was there a black president? Yes. Is there black mayors? Yes. Is there black governors? Yes. Black millionaires? Yes. Huh. No. No. Do black people have access to education? Yes. Now, I would say they might be a little bit behind on that, you know, because of the fucking segregation and the fucking slavery nonsense, right? So they're probably a little bit behind in education, but they do have full access to that now. Not at all. Not at all. Like it or not, not at all. Next. Do you think greater society do you think greater social acceptance of people who are transgender, who identify as a gender? I like how they have to explain it. This is how you know it's bad in concept, is because they have to explain it post the fucking question. What the fuck? Do you think greater social acceptance of people who are transgender, very bad for society? Very bad for society. You want to be gay? Great. You want to be bi? Great. You want to be a lesbian? Great. Keep that fucking trans shit out of the fucking country. Right? I'm not going to capitulate to your mental disease. All right? I'm done. I'm done. Right? If you want to be like a cross-dressing fucking weirdo, that's fine. It's fine. But stop fucking trying to be the opposite gender. Stop trying to get close to other people's children. That's very fucking weird. All right? None of that drag bullshit. All right? Keep your sexualized fantasies to yourself. Plain and simple. It's no different than somebody who's got BDSM stuff, right? Or somebody who likes puppy play or some weird shit, right? Keep that shit behind closed doors where it belongs. That's it. Point blank simple. Don't want, nope. Won't acknowledge it. Don't care about it. Now, keep in mind, I am not advocating for you to be an absolute douchebag to one of these people if you see them in public. Obviously, we're in a public space, right? Be respectful, right? You don't have to agree with them, right? The same way that I don't agree with them. And in some cases, I not even strongly dislike, I fucking hate them. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to treat them as any other person in society. Right? It's a respectful thing to do. Treat them like any other person in society because that's how I would want to be treated. Right? And then simply move on with my day. Right? Was it an unfortunate encounter? Sure. Sure. But that's life. That's life. Right? No, at the end of the day, you know, I can still shake hands with a trans person and be fucking fine. Right? It's no big deal. Right? I'm not going to actively hate brigade trans person. There's no reason to do that. Right? Not that big a deal. But I'm not going to acknowledge this nonsense for a single second. Not at all. But I am also I am the bigger man. I'm willing to put that aside to simply have that interaction and then I'll still tell you to have a nice day right after, right? Cool. It's that easy. It really is. Overall, would you say people who are convicted of crimes in this country serve too much time, too little time, about the right amount of time? Too little time. Too little time. Turn all the prisons into labor camps. They should all be manufacturing number 2 fucking pencils. Yes, I'm going to push that narrative until you're all sick of it. And you probably already are. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? Religion should be kept separate from government policy. Government policy should support religious. Always separate. Always separate. Church and state, always separate. Church and federal government, always separate. The church likes to act on its own individual beliefs, same way as the government does. There is a certain degree of checks and balances that takes place in between those two things. They should never capitulate to one another. They should never work in cohesion with one another. In the future, do you think U.S. policy should try to keep it so America is the only military superpower, or it would be acceptable if another country became as military powerful as the U.S.? We already have that, by the way. I don't know if the people who made this quiz have an idea, but Russia does exist. China does exist, right? Saudi Arabia does exist. What do all of these countries have? Nuclear weapons. Indeed. If we went to war tomorrow, I still think that there would be some semblance of people, but the majority of the world would be wiped out. People say it's the end of the world if nukes happen. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think a lot of those nukes are going to smash into each other as countries launch them in succession. I do think it would be absolute obliteration for the most part, but I do think that there would be a good portion of people who still live. Because there are literally people in places that you would never even think to fucking go, and they turned it into a fucking village, right? So I think people underestimate the amount of people that are spread out into the world that will never even see a bomb or a nuke go over their fucking head. Because, like, the world is massive. Like, it's insanely massive. Land-wise, it isn't as big, right? But the world is mostly water. But at the same time, we have made every inhospitable place on this fucking planet, aside from a very select few, habitable. Because that's just how well of a race that we are, that we persevere through these things, right? We make the impossible possible. So yeah, we're already at this. Ideally, it would be this. Ideally, right? And a lot of countries and people from other countries already look at us like this anyway, so you know. Oh shit. Populist right, along with 11% of the public. What the fuck does that even mean? Let's find out. Populist right are very conservative and overwhelmingly Republican. They stand out for their intense negative views on immigration. Unlike other GOP-oriented groups, they are highly critical of large corporations and banks, and say the economic system unfairly favors the powerful interests. Oh shit. They express strong support for former President Donald Trump. A majority say he should run for president again in 2024. Crazy how that turned out. Like the other two deeply ideologically conservative typology groups, populist right are overwhelmingly white. However, in contrast with these groups, a majority are women. So you're saying I think like a fucking woman? I think like a conservative woman? Brother. Oh, that's fucking crazy, bro. Oh, that's funny, man. Populist right also have less formal education than most other typology groups. Just 2 in 10 are college graduates. Hey, holding it down for the 20%, you know what I'm saying? Populist right are, well, actually, I have a lot of schooling now that I think about it, because I have a lot of trade technical schooling as well. Before I even went to college, I had already gone through 2 years. Yeah, 2 years of trade school before that point. 11% of the public, 12% of registered voters, and 12% of 2020 voters. Distinguishing features. Critical corporations, strong Trump supporters, absolutely fucking not. Favor restrictive immigration policies. That's true. How you compare the results? The results shown below are based on a survey of 10,221 adults conducted in July 8th through 18th, 2021. You answered, would you rather have a bigger government and modestly expand on current government services? Oh, you would rather, sorry. I am in the minority with this, huh? Is that what the share of the populist right versus the general population? Okay. So I'm going against the grain a little bit on this one. You could say it's a bit of a radical take. Religion should be kept separate from the government policy. This is fucking crazy to me that is that close. But yeah. Yep. Right along with them. You answered, if America is too open, then we're yep. Nothing at all needs to be done to ensure equal rights. Yup. Right with me again. You answered, it would bother you some to regularly hear people speak. 27%. 27% crazy. White people benefit too much. White people benefit not too much / not at all from advantages. Yep. Fucking based. Foreign policy. You answered, the U.S. has lost more than it gained. Abso-fucking-lutely. The U.S. is one of the greatest countries in the world. Fucking yes. 52%. What the fuck is wrong with the general public? Fucking quats. In the future, U.S. policy should try to keep it so America's yep. You rated Democrats 0% on average. Rated Democrats. Oh, so I'm a little bit against. They're a little bit more favorable to the Democrats. I rated them 0. I hate them. Populist right. On average, rated Democrats 13%. In the general public, rated Democrats 46%. You rated Republicans 20%. Populist right on average rated Republicans 74%. I'm completely against the grain on this. Absolutely against the grain for both parties because I think they're both a fucking farce. Other issues. Experts are worse at making good policy decisions. Bingo. Business, corporation, 5%. You guys need to stop. Stop listening to these fucking quote-unquote experts. Business corporations make too much profit. Fucking absolutely. People being too easily offended, abso-fucking-lutely. People saying things that are very offensive, greater social acceptance, overall people who are convicted of crimes, abso-fucking-lutely. So there you have it, folks. The best fit is populist right. Turns out I'm a fucking MAGA jerk my dick off to Donald Trump conservative. Absolutely not. This does not change anything for me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about what this has to say. Because in general, politics is a fucking scam. But I will link this down in the description if you guys want to try it out for yourself, and then tag me on X with your results and see how we compare. Moving on. I always thought that I was left-leaning, so that is kind of interesting to a degree. 35 things to do in Dallas, Texas. All right, put a pause on that. Let's get into this. Is Longhorns, baby. This is gonna be fun because so here in South Dakota where I'm at, we have a lot of Longhorns up here. So we literally just had somebody move here from Texas. I can't remember what part of Texas she's from, but she thought that there was only Longhorns in Texas. So she was culture shocked when she found out that South Dakota also has a bunch of Longhorns.
All right, everybody, this is Island Hopper TV, and today we're coming to you from Dallas, Texas. Let's
Dallas.
get into it. First up, here we are at the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Garden. Tickets are $21.95 during the weekdays and $25.95 during the weekends. Next
that's
up,
cool.
Here we are at Six Flags Over Texas. This here is one of the best Six Flags amusement parks in all of the country. You can order tickets online directly, and they're about $35.
I don't plan on doing this. I'm gonna be honest. I'm much more of a nature guy. Right. I don't mind like going to like roller coasters and stuff like that, but I look at it as more of like a social gathering type thing rather than a kind of like a go by yourself like leisure day type thing.
$5 each. If you're military, you get a discount, or first responder. Observation deck at Reunion Tower. Standing at 561 feet, the observation tower here in Dallas is one of
this
the
would be
city's
cool.
most recognizable landmarks. Known by locals as the Ball, it was completed in February of 1978. There's now a
neat.
Hyatt Regency right here at the Ball. Next up, here we are at the Fort Worth Stockyards. This is a historic district located in Fort Worth, and here you'll celebrate the long-standing cattle industry right here in Fort Worth. So it's more of a cultural experience. Now here we are ice skating at the Galleria Mall. So if you guys are looking for an awesome mall, come on out here to the Galleria.
Well, maybe the Fort Worth thing. I don't know. Depends if they got stuff popping off in let's see, when the 22nd of May through the 26th of May, depending on, how long I'm on a goddamn flight for. Because, I live in the middle of goddamn nowhere, so you got to get 10 connecting flights before you get to where you got to go.
And do some ice skating year-round. Now here we are at the Dallas Zoo. Ticket prices do
I'm going here. I'm going here for sure.
Range depending on the time of year as well as the day of the week. If you wanted to save the most money, try and book during
How big is this zoo, by the way? Let me know in the comments.
Like a Wednesday or Thursday, and you can expect tickets to range anywhere between $18 to $26. Now here we are at the Dallas Museum of Art. The good news is general admission here is free. Some visitors
look at that.
Visitors are encouraged to reserve tickets ahead of time.
Oh, hell
we
yeah.
are at the AT&T Stadium. This is the first billion-dollar stadium that was ever built in the United States, and this is where the Dallas Cowboys play. Other events take place here, such as concerts, rodeos, basketball games. Really an amazing stadium. Out here in Arlington. Now here we are at the Texas State Fair. This is actually the oldest state.
I can't talk shit. My Saints are doing fucking terrible this year, dude. I'm not even going to tune into the fucking games. That's how bad they are.
State fair in the United States, typically 24 days, making it the longest running state fairs in the country.
What the fuck? It's animatronic?
With an annual attendance of 2 million visitors. And you could say what's up to Big Tex, a 55-foot tall talking statue.
That's
also
crazy.
have the Texas Star Ferris wheel. Now,
That's
the
cool.
dates for the Texas State Fair are September 26th until October 19th, 2025. Dates
Damn.
do change based on the year, but it's typically the last Friday in September and ends on 24 days later. So kind of easy to remember that if you're coming in 26 or 27. Also, as we continue to show you around Dallas, if you guys love videos like this, smash up the likes and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep showing you around Dallas as we head towards downtown Dallas to do some exploring. Now here we are at the Dallas Farmers Market. Being that Texas
What?
is known for local agriculture, it started as a horse and wagon operation in the late 19th century and became the municipality station market in 1941 with over 200 vendors, including 50 plus Texas farmers and ranchers. So lots to see and do out here. And this market has evolved over the years. Obviously, it's
Oh my God, is that a pizza? Oh, I'm getting a pizza there. I'm going there to get a pizza. Mark it on the fucking calendar, bruv.
a lot more modern than it was when it first opened, but they do have a very large structure called the Shed, and that's where you'll find restaurants, vendors, and breweries. They even grow local
Breweries?
produce here on site. You'll see that all around, so you can go inside the nursery or the greenhouse and pick up some local, fresh produce. Walking around the farmers market is free. So here we are in downtown Dallas. This is where you're gonna find more attractions, and that's what we're gonna show you here, including a historical area, an entertainment district, and where JFK was actually shot. So let's explore. The whole area is undergoing an urban rejuvenation, so you'll notice lots of art being built here, including the
I do think it would be fun to just spend a day, like maybe like I haven't booked my plane ticket yet, so like maybe if I could find one that's like decently early in the morning, and then I can just go out and explore Dallas. Like just walk around downtown, just enjoy the sights and sounds, you know.
giant eyeball. This thing is weird,
What the
but
hell?
cool. It's not much
Bro,
else
that's
going
sick.
on here except for taking a picture with this big eyeball. No one knows exactly what it means. Some say it's the Pharaoh's eye, Big Brother's eye, but it can mean whatever you want it to mean, and that's the whole point of the art. And it's been here in the financial district since 2013. Let's go check out some entertainment. So this here is the AT&T Discovery District, where tech, culture, and entertainment combine to create a unique, modern type vibe, good for kids, families, and place to bring for friends, go on a date.
Oh, that
AT&T
statue's
store. They also have an
crazy.
exchange food hall. People come down here to watch movies, do karaoke happy hour at the Cowboy Chow, live music, and much more. In the
Cowboy
evening time,
Chow.
here we are now at the Perot Museum, and you'll learn about nature and science here. Tickets range from $15 to $20.
Bro, I really wish they would bring back the unique architecture that we used to have all over the US.
$25. Here we are now at the Pioneer Plaza. This is a public open space park dedicated to the
Yo.
city's historical connection to cattle drives, similar to
Hell
what you
yeah.
find with the stockyards, but this
Bunch
is
of
more of a
cowboys.
memorial. Lots of
Oh,
different
God damn it.
statues of cowboys and cattle. Another fun park is the Clyde Warren Park. Here you also find a splash pad, some restaurants, and a relaxing environment. Now we'll head over to the Old Red Museum. This here is the Dallas County History and Cultural Museum. So if you wanted to learn about the history of Old Dallas, the Lone Star State, come on out here to the Red Museum, which is the old
Is that sandstone brick? That looks kind of sick if it is.
Dallas County Courthouse, built in 1892, made of red sandstone and
I'm a, it's almost like I did this shit for a living.
marble accents.
Marble
And here
accents.
we are now at the 6th floor museum. This here is where Lee Harvey Oswald shot the famous shots at the President JFK and assassinated him on November 22nd, 1963. And you also have the JFK Memorial for those of you who want to pay tribute to the president.
I will probably go to the memorial, but I don't know if I'm gonna go to this fucking specific spot. He just got domed. Like the fuck. But I will probably go to the memorial just to see it.
Who was assassinated here while doing a
Dude,
parade
I'm gonna get so much footage,
in
bro.
Dallas. There were 3 shots fired from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. This happened at Dealey Plaza, and in this area you will find the grassy knoll and the history associated with this assassination. If anything, is just a historical memorial site, not much else going on here. You could possibly skip this unless you really want to get the history on JFK's assassination. Also, another thing you can do around the downtown Dallas area is a trolley tour. The M-Line trolley is free and it connects to the DART rail and buses. So here we are on Elm and Market, right outside the historic end of Dallas. Let's go take a look. Yeah, so at the historic West End, right where the former...
Let's see, what do we got? West End attractions, John Neely, Brian Cabin. Oh, I thought they said Founders Pizza. I was about to be excited. It was Founders Plaza. The Kennedy Memorial, Old Red Museum, Dealey Plaza. Okay.
President was assassinated.
Holocaust Museum.
You can also walk through here and see some of the other museums like the Dallas Holocaust Museum.
What
and
the hell?
They have streets filled with sports bars, steakhouses, memorials, and much more. Also, if you guys are considering visiting Texas, you can check out our video that we made about Houston, Austin, or San Antonio. Check the links down below in the description and the comments if you guys are planning to go to Texas. Check out those videos, especially the Houston one. Just some quick history about Texas. So in the 1600s, it was part of the Spanish empires until 1821, and then it became part of Mexico. In 1836, it became the Republic of Texas. Then at the Battle of Alamo and the Battle of San Jacinto, Texas actually gained its independence as the Republic of Texas with its own president and currency. Texas is actually called the Lone Star State as a symbol of its former status as an independent republic before becoming a state in the United States in 1845. The nickname just stuck. Now, as far as Dallas comes into play here in 1856, it was incorporated as a city, and that's what you have here in the West End area. From the 18 to the 1900s,
it's crazy how much these buildings look exactly like the buildings we have here. Like almost a one-for-one design-wise.
Dallas was a center for cotton, grain, and banking. And then in the 1930s and 40s, it was the oil boom that really brought significant growth to Dallas. But yeah, as you explore around the historic West End of Dallas, and now that you understand the history,
Bill Western
stop
Store.
into Wild Bill's Western Store.
Hell yeah, get me a fresh pair of boots.
World Aquarium.
Oh, this is another place that's on my bucket list to go.
And this is part of Sea Life Aquarium Network. You'll see jellyfish.
They got some
Japanese
gangbangers
crabs,
out there.
Also, plenty of...
When was it? This must have been filmed during COVID times, surely.
Different birds.
Everybody got a goddamn mask on.
Sharks. They have a wide variety. 400,000-gallon walk-through cenote exhibit filled with sea turtles and majestic rays. It is around $31 for adults and $21 for kids. I would say spend about 3 hours walking around here. Also down here in the downtown area, they do have a horse-drawn carriage ride.
Hell yeah,
brother. You can either do the historical tour or the romantic ride for $55. This might be interesting to some of you. This really could be something fun.
They have a bucket back there for puke.
If you've always wanted to ride in a chariot. And speaking of old historic rides, they have the M trolley, which is different than the modern trolley they have in downtown. So you may consider also riding the M trolley around Uptown. This is McKinney Road. This is a place that has bars, restaurants, cafes. It's more of a local vibe. So I would say if you're looking for that, do.
Yeah, honestly, I'd rather just go in the morning. That dog's taking a shit right there behind me, by the way. Good thing my camera's here. Blurring that for YouTube. Anyway, fuck, I completely lost my train of thought, dude. My ADHD just took over. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like the trolley stuff is like it's cool. I'm much more of like a self-exploration type though. Like I don't want to go on like any sort of guided thing, right? I'm just gonna fucking literally get to my hotel, hop out of my hotel, because my hotel, it is relative to attractions that I can go to, right? I tried to get it as close as possible, so I wasn't like having to Uber everywhere. So yeah, so I can get there. I can Uber to a certain location, and then after that, I can literally just spend the whole day walking around and just seeing all the different sites and stuff. And then when I'm ready, if I'm really really tired, then I'll just get an Uber home or a Lyft or whatever, or I'll just walk my happy ass back, and I'll stop at more shit on the way.
Check out Uptown along McKinney Avenue. To be honest, this is where I spent most of the time hanging out in the nighttime, was along McKinney. So after all that exploring,
Fair.
you must have some sort of an appetite by now. So
Let's talk barbecue.
let's talk about some local food. Barbecue is big, but
Yes,
let's talk
sir.
about some of the other high-end food. You have sushi, seafood, which we did the first night. Then we tore up some barbecue after we went across the Trinity River. While here, you also got to try some Tex-Mex, which is mostly tacos, burritos.
Dude, I can't enjoy any of this shit, dude. I'm allergic to onions, bro. I can't have this shit. Oh, dude, I like the taste of onion too. That's the sad part. Like, like, man, the closest I've ever had to like proper onion that wasn't like accidental, almost poisoning, was Funyuns. That's it. Closest I can get.
But it's a Texas Mexican kind of cuisine, but Texas barbecue is the big ticket. See here, I got some ribs. I got a half a rack, collard greens, and cheddar potatoes.
Ooh.
So I got some ribs here.
I'm not the biggest rib guy, I'm gonna be honest.
Yep. Look at that.
I want like a barbecue pulled pork sandwich. That's what I want.
Beautiful. Some collard greens and cheddar potatoes. Delicious. And this here is the George Bush Presidential Center located at the SMU campus here in Dallas. You can actually walk around here and learn about the Bush family. If you're looking to get outdoors and do some activity, you can check out golfing across Dallas. They have plenty of golf courses, so bring your golf clubs if you're into that. For all of you who like shopping, this is where the first Neiman Marcus store was ever put up, right here in Dallas. You can see the history in 1907. Because Dallas is a major business and financial center, some people call it the New York of the South, and Neiman Marcus being one of the high-end department stores of the United States, that would make sense. Just something fun to look at would be the Traveling Man statue that you'll see across Dallas. There is a series of 3 metal sculptures depicting robots accompanied by birds. So some futuristic travel. But also, while we're on the subject of art, you can check out the Arts District. This is another one of those areas like McKinney where you hang out and chill. So Arts District, known as the cultural hub because this is where the Symphony Center and the Opera House is located. And if you're looking for a good workout, you can run along the Trinity River Trail. This is a nice park that just expands all along the downtown area. So you can walk it, run it, jog it, bike it, Trinity River Trail. All the way up to Fort Worth. Just some quick facts about Dallas. It is the 4th largest metro area in the country with a population of 8.4 million people, also known as DFW, which includes Dallas, Fort Worth, and Arlington. Here in this area, I would say Dallas is more of a livable city than it is a tourist destination, but if you are coming here for tourism, I would say 3 to 5 days should be perfect for you to familiarize yourself with the city. And on that note, see you guys on the next one.
Damn, bro. So that is some of the different things that you can do in Dallas. That's awesome. That's good to know. That is good to know. Some of those definitely caught my eye. I'm definitely going to be going to get me that pizza at the farmer's market. I'm going to be getting me some fucking Texas barbecue. Let me know down below the best place to get some Texas barbecue. God damn it. All right. On to our final vidya of the day. I gotta pull up that fucking X post that I had earlier since I fucking disappeared on that. Here it is. So Trump is crashing out over Epstein.
War of words within the GOP over the Epstein files. President Trump sparring with one of his most loyal allies, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her a traitor in a social media post. Greene firing back as a critical vote on the Epstein files is set for Tuesday. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang reports from Washington.
Tonight, just days before the House is set to vote on releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files, President Trump ramping up attacks on one of his closest allies. Trump declaring he's withdrawing his supported endorsement of Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of 4 Republicans who joined Democrats to force that vote. Trump accusing Greene of betraying the entire Republican Party, calling her a rant.
This is why I fucking don't like Trump. I think this is the bullshit that will lose him support from so many people. I think he spent so much time getting attacked that he doesn't know how to like not attack people in response. Like we're talking about a guy who was a legal and political punching bag for years. And I think because of that, he it's almost like a defensive like reflex for him now. And I do think it is one of his biggest flaws, and also why I said well, actually, I don't know if I've said this on video before, but the reason I didn't vote is because he doesn't carry himself like the president. I do think as the president of the United States, you need to carry yourself with some degree um, of dignity, of you have to carry yourself in a way that what's the best way to say this? I don't think dignity is the right word. I think you should carry yourself in a way that is dignified. I think is I think that's the yeah, that's the way that I would say it. I would say that you should carry yourself like a dignified individual. Um, somebody who does this well would be JD Vance. I think JD Vance did this well. I think the governor of Minnesota, when they had their debate, the vice presidential debate, I think was such a glaring contrast to the political run because they were very respectful. They talked policy. They talked all the important topics that people wanted to know, and they were very clear and concise with their answers when asked. So, whether you agree or disagree with them, they carried themselves like a vice presidents, right? They carried themselves with dignity, right? They carried themselves like dignified individuals. And I do think you need that degree of confidence, that degree of character when you are in a position of which you represent an entire country of people, right? Now that doesn't mean that you can't have some crazy policy positions, right? You got to do what you got to do. You like at the end of the day, the majority should always be the ones that you are catering to. Like you should never cater to the 0.0001%, like the point fucking um or like the 1% or the 2%. You should always be looking out for the best interest of the most amount of people. So, but at the end of the day, you should still carry yourself properly. Yeah, I don't know, this whole fucking tweeting shit out, and then a lot of times he tweets shit out before he actually has a settlement done on those things. So then it makes him look like a dumbass because then he has to go back on the tweet because the thing that he said he was gonna do didn't work out, which is what people got really sour about in the first run. Now we're on the second run, and it's starting to look like the same shit in a different suit. Or maybe the same suit. I don't know. I don't remember what he used to wear.
Lunatic and a traitor. Green firing back, questioning why the president is fighting so hard to stop the files from being released.
Yeah, there's no reason.
I believe the country deserves transparency in these files.
Agreed.
And I don't believe that rich, powerful people.
And you know, the funny thing is, if houses were at 150,000, if rent was at an average of 500, if grocery bills for an entire month's food was $300, if gas was at $1.50, if cars were 70,000 for your top tier end truck, and I would say 20,000 for your base model truck. I think if those were the numbers that you were looking at for everyday life for all these people, I don't even think that they would bring up the Epstein files anymore. Dead ass. If people tomorrow were living like they should have been living for the past 15 fucking years, the Epstein files disappear overnight and nobody talks about it again. But you didn't do your job, you didn't deliver, right? Prices have barely, slightly gone down for certain things, and that is not enough. Everything has gone up but wages. So unless you bring the prices of everything down or you increase the prices of wage, there's no other option.
Should be protected if they have done anything wrong.
But well, I guess your only option, actually, now that I think about it, is literally to bring prices of everything down. That's the only way to do it. Because if you increase the wage, then the companies are going to increase their fucking the amount that they charge so they can make up for that excess in wage.
The rupture exposing deep divisions within the president's own base. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie, the lead Republican co-sponsor of the bill, saying he expects a large block of GOP lawmakers to break from Trump, a rarity in today's Washington.
I think we could have a deluge of Republicans. There could be 100 or more.
Trump says he cut ties with Epstein after a decade-long.
Doesn't matter. You could have cut ties with him when you were fucking 5 years old. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. You have no reason to hold on to these files, redact the victims' names, and release the fucking files like you were brought in to do, like you said you would do. Granted, you didn't run your whole campaign on that, but you said you were going to do it, and now you're not doing it. And that is exactly why people are roaching out, because they're sick of your bullshit. Stop being a pussy and fucking release the goddamn files. You're the president. At any time, you can mandate anyone to do anything for any reason. So you might as well fucking do it. Fight the legal fight and get those fucking files out. And fuck, even if they told you no, even if they legally fucking brought it to a vote and they said no, even if the Supreme Court came down and said no, it's as simple as taking a picture online and posting it on X. And it'll give full transparency to the world. That's what we want. Why the hell are we protecting some fucking pedo scumbag piece of shit? There is no reason. And right now, because people are broke and they're not fucking doing anything, especially getting closer to the holidays, nobody's able to go home because they're all fucking can't afford plane tickets and they can't afford fucking gas. They can't afford a fucking car. They can't afford fucking groceries. They can't afford fucking everything else under the goddamn sun. So they have nothing but time to talk about this bullshit online.
Long friendship because Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell were luring away women and teenage girls who worked at Mar-a-Lago. He claims they hadn't spoken in 15 years at the time of Epstein's arrest in 2019. But the House Oversight Committee released thousands of pages of documents.
Yeah, that's another thing. They say, oh, there's no documents. Oh, there is documents. Oh, Like this is the fucking Epstein list never existed. Oh, well, actually, it does it does exist. Oh, we're not going to do an investigation. Oh, we are going to do an investigation. What the fuck are we doing? Just take a goddamn picture with a goddamn fucking brand new iPhone and fucking post that shit. What the fuck are we talking about anymore? Like, why are we even fucking? Why are we wasting time? Why are we voting? We don't need a majority vote. Just fucking take a goddamn picture of it and post it on X.
Subpoenaed from Epstein's estate,
Everyone.
many of which mention Trump by
Minutes
name,
apart.
sparking new questions about the
Fucking
relationship
retarded.
with the notorious sex offender. The president deflected.
I did look at this. I did look at some of the fucking new information, which is just like it's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, in order to extrapolate something that would be condemning from it, you would have to come at it from a dishonest point of view, and that's about the only way that you could get it to work in your favor. Other than that, there's really nothing.
This is a Democrat hoax. This is a hoax put out by the Democrat, and a couple of few Republicans have gone along with it.
Congressman.
I mean, a yes and no. I mean, obviously the Democrats are going to use it because there's a chance to stab a fucking blade into your back that you gave them. You gave them the blade, by the way. It's your fault. Still. But they have an opportunity and they're fucking taking it, and I don't blame them for it.
Massey urging fellow Republicans to back his bill, warning of political consequences if they don't.
In 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
And even if that measure to force the release of the files passes the House, it's still...
I think it's continuing to erode the trust that he has built up. And if he wants to continue making these worldwide decisions, he has to continue to build that trust with the people. If he doesn't deliver on this, they will tell him to stop interacting with other countries in the world. And his plan of building the golden age is going to fizzle out before it even begins.
Needs to clear the Senate, and it's very unlikely President Trump would sign on. But Republican lawmakers, they've got a tough decision to make. President Trump does not want those files released, but many of their constituents are demanding transparency.
Selena Wang at the White House tonight.
Yep, so that's what's going on with that crazy shit. Yeah, I think it's complete and utter bullshit. So, we're now at the final countdown of the video. This is the post that he put up on Truth Social. Oh boy. So, as I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One, to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by the radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party. So there you go right there. There you go right there. He says specifically right there to vote to release the Epstein files. So remember this. And when the vote happens, every single Republican, get them removed. That's what I think. Your president has spoken. They have mandated you to expose this fucking rapist, fucking child predator ring. If you vote against it as a Republican mandated by your president, you should be charged with treason. Charged with treason, locked up. Fuck you. What else do we got? And it's time to move on from the Democrat hoax, radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success. Yeah. Including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein. Are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc., and their relationship to Epstein. And the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability, where we are winning big. Not really. You're winning big in the affordability for the top 2%. That's about it. For the other 98%, shit's still expensive, buddy. That's the reality, right? Our victory on reducing inflation from the highest level in history to practically nothing, bringing down prices for the American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, a record. The rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, ending men in women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone, and so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive. I feel like people did. I feel like people called it out. They were blown off as conspiracy theorists. And then turns out once somebody dies, all the secrets come out. The skeletons exit the closet, if you will. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, and if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. I do agree. As long as no Democrats were implicated in the files, then they for sure would have. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. So that is what Trump's had to say about the Epstein situation that he will never get away from until he deals with it like everybody has mandated him to do. So that is going to be it for today's Patch Notes. Thank you all for tuning in for this not so long, 2 hours. We finally made a Patch Notes that was not 3 hours fucking long. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.